Well, hello there, and welcome back to the Skellyverse. So, first things first, it's been a while, I know. The world has been crazy lately, as I'm sure you're aware, but I really don't want to talk about that. I kind of just want to relax and play some Minecraft, have a good time, and hopefully in the process provide some entertainment and much needed distraction for all of you. But you know, as far as quarantine goes, this is a pretty good place for it. This is our portal to nowhere, which we saw in the last episode. If you didn't see the last episode, there is a link in the description to the playlist, all the Skellyverse episodes, so you can get caught up. There is a underwater temple over there. I think I might have seen that last time, but I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, this is the place where we created a portal to the middle of nowhere. And in here is the Wither Skeleton Farm, which has been completed. Let's just danger it up here. There we go. I feel safer already. So we saw this last time. It was just a little netherrack walkway and a few nether bricks, but it has been finished. In fact, let's go outside and take a looky-see. The buttons there are because buttons stop spawning. And one of the things that we try to do for this whole area is stop spawning. And you can see I have a lot left to do here. Is anywhere there's nether brick, wither skeletons can spawn. And we only want them to spawn in there. I tried some lava here, tried some pressure plates over here, took down some chunks of stuff. There's a lot of ways you can spawn proof. You could put buttons everywhere if you wanted to, slabs, whatever. Obviously, this whole roof is slabs so that nothing can spawn on there. But really, when it comes down to it, you don't need to spawn proof that much because this farm is actually pretty efficient. I am a professional. So let's go take a look. The one flaw in this implementation of this design is this ladder right here. As you come down, some of these fools can see you. Like that Blaze, pretty sure he just spotted us. Some customers have already arrived at the store. Let's take a walk, boys. But the idea here basically is that these withery boys, they can peep right over this here, even though there's these pots on the ground that bring us up a little bit over these stairs. Withery boys very tall, so they can see us. Everyone else cannot unless you jump, or if you go up and down a ladder, which is not part of the original design. That's something I put in because, I don't know, we wanted to be special. Get over here. They'll find their way up here and eventually. They kind of dumb. But let me go ahead and show you a time lapse of me working this farm for a little bit. And then when you get back from that, I'll show you what's in this chest that we've collected so far. So check out this tiny little time lapse. Boom. Yes, so as you can see, we have done a little bit of farming here, and here are the results. We have 8 wither skeleton skulls, along with all kinds of coal, and I had to kill some zombie pigmen, unfortunately. But coal and bones also, some blazes, arrows, whatever. But the functional part, 8 wither skeleton skulls. I think I might have another one around somewhere in a chest, which means we can summon probably about 3 withers. And if we look at statistics real quick, yeah, you can see right here that we have killed 225 wither skeletons, and from that basically is just these 8 skulls. So it's sufficient enough. It hasn't taken that long to do that. That's maybe an hour of grinding, which would take you a lot longer if you're just kind of walking around the nether fortress trying to find some withery boys. And as you can see down here, we get quite a few. The idea is we get far enough from one side for things to despawn, and then as we come back, withery boys spawn up because they can only spawn on nether bricks, and these are the only nether bricks around. Well, there's some around. You saw those, but we can take care of them. But the point is we don't have to. This is efficient enough. As I pull these guys back over to the Chamber of Death, I may as well show you guys the time lapse of actually creating this place. I got quite a bit of it recorded. It took many hours, and actually from that there's over 5 minutes of time-lapsed footage, which is a lot. I think it's the longest time lapse on this channel to date. So hello, come on, you can do it, buddy. Okay, so you go ahead and watch that, and I'm gonna slap these boys in the knees until they drop their heads. And then I will see you right back here. So roll that time lapse. Okay, welcome back. I'm still just walking up and down the hall, trying not to jump, because jumping gets you killed. Yeah, if you jump, then all them withers can see you. And as you saw in that time lapse, I had a few difficulties. I accidentally hit a zombie pigman a couple times, and as you may have noticed, they hold a grudge. It's anywhere from 20 minutes to a few hours, I believe. And you can leave the game, you can go to another dimension, doesn't matter. They're still going to be mad until they're either dead or they decide to not be mad anymore, which you can say I got kind of spawn camped at our portal in the middle of nowhere because that guy did not want to let go of his grudge. And he killed us several times in a row, and that was a lot of fun. So much fun. The whole reason that we're doing this, by the way, is so that... Hello? Come on, get up there. Can't get your heads if you don't die in the right place. Haven't got any more heads, by the way. We're still at 8. But that will be fixed very soon. But the point of all this is we are going to create a Wither Arena. Corner operator Rob has already been working on that. Yeah, we saw that a couple episodes ago. And what we're going to do is find a creative way, and by creative I mean an inventive way in survival, to spawn the Wither. So I've been working on that, and I think for the rest of this episode, perhaps, we are going to take a look at some of that stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and take you to Creative World, where I will show you what I've been working on. And that might not be the final form. We might go with something else, depending on what we end up trying to build in the actual Wither Arena itself. But it will be interesting to look at. A lot of cool concepts, and I'm going to do a little more explaining than usual just because I'm really into this. I'm into this whole redstone contraption thing at the moment. What I've cooked up, I am really enjoying. So I'll go ahead and explain all of that to you in excruciating detail. And we will continue our assault on the withered gentlemen of this realm until we have just a bunch of skulls. Okay, so... off to the creative world. Welcome to the creative flat world. This is a world where I put down ideas about stuff that I'm trying to figure out. So you can see there's all kinds of ridiculous things. There's the Tudor mansion, there's bees, there's the mother of chickens, there's the modified mansion, there's the factory, some elevator stuff, all kinds of things, villager breeder over there. Just stuff that I want to figure out before I spend the time. Oh yeah, and there's the lighthouse. Before I spend the time to do it all in survival, which obviously means, you don't get to just do stuff for free and to collect all your blocks and painstakingly move around without flying. Well, at least without creative flying. But anyway, yeah, if you don't have creative, test, redstone type of world or just design world, highly recommend that you get one. It is super helpful and obviously really easy to do. You just start a new single player world. All right, so let's take a closer look at this thing. First, I'm going to give you a demo. I'm going to press this button here, which is going to activate it. It is all timing based, which on a Spigot server can be a little hairy. But we're just going to hope and pray that everything works out just fine. So let me set the scene for you here. This is what you're going to see in the Wither Arena, which we saw in the last episode. We might revisit again at the end of this episode if there's time. And imagine, if you will, there are also some flashing lights and some spooky sounds going on. Maybe a little bit of dun 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 music in the background, which you can see I've been messing with some note block stuff there, which we'll get into a different episode. Not this one, but a different one. But anyway, that'll be all going on, and that will probably all be triggered from the same button. Over here, I've got this pink line coming out, and that's going to be 2 lights and sounds off of the main circuit, which activates all this stuff. So first, like I said, demo, blah-doop. The lights will be going off, sound will be going on, and then all of a sudden, some soul sand rises, and then more soul sand rises, and then even more soul sand, then a skull, a short delay, and another skull, a slightly longer dramatic delay, and the final skull, and there's the Wither. Let's just go ahead and murder him so he doesn't destroy our thing here. And this can be reset, but it won't really matter because it's going to get blowed up, right? Wither boy, he's going to go woo-woo completed, and then all the stuff's going to get blown to pieces. Anyway, we can reset it just basically by plopping some soul sand down here like that and bringing these guys down to here. Let's break down some of the parts of this. There's a lot of repetition here. For the most part, it's just delay circuits, falling edge detectors, and double piston extenders. So let's look at this double piston extender. That's what this bottom green circuit is right here. And that's what enables the soul sand to move up 2 spots as opposed to 1. Obviously, we know if we just put a piston down, we put a block on it, and we activate it with redstone, like so, it moves 1 space. But we need 2 spaces because of the way that Withery Boy is constructed. We know that he needs to be in a T like this. So what we do is, instead of having a single piston extender, we use a double piston extender, which is a known thing that exists in the redstone world. People know about it. It's been built before. It's been done. It's all been done before. But basically, all you really have to do is like so. And actually, since I put this block here, when I destroy it, it is going to double extend this piece of wool. Boop, boop. There we go. Trigger it again, and it will pull it back down. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So that's not really that complicated a one. It's a known quantity, like I said. People know how to build this double piston extender. It's a thing that's been in the community for a long time. I don't know who designed it, but there it is, and we can use it. And you can see we've done that here. The only difference is the middle one is staggered down 1 because we've got 2 blocks that need to move up 2, and this one is 1 block basically because there's an air space below it to form the T. So there's that. And then, as you saw in the demo, we trigger these with different timings. So that brings us to the next part in our circuit, which is the timing circuit. So we have seen this many times before, or something very close to it. It is an etho hopper clock. If this was a sticky piston as opposed to a regular, this clock could be triggered and it would go back and forth forever. And the delay is based on the number of items in the hopper. But if you turn this into a normal piston, it basically becomes a one-way timing circuit. So it just becomes a longer delay. If we trigger this here, it's going to go over, and then all the items are going to move out. It's going to go back, and then this is going to stay on until it finally retracts. So all we need to do here is put in a falling edge detector, which basically means that this will only activate when it retracts, and that gives us the timing. And the amount of timing obviously is based on the number of items that have to go back and forth. Okay, so what I mean by a falling edge detector is that the action is only done on the backstroke. So this piston is actually going to push this observer out as soon as this clock triggers. When we hit this button over here, it's going to instantly power this redstone, and it's going to stay on until the clock is done with its entire cycle. So if we want to activate something at the end of this delay, we need a falling edge detector, which is this right here, the piston plus the observer, which goes up into this line. So what happens is, if we actually just activate this right now, notice how this redstone didn't light up. That's because the observer doesn't actually generate any pulse until after it stopped moving. And since it can't activate this repeater, the only thing that it can activate is this redstone back here. So you will see, boom, it does it. Again, boom, nothing, boom, action. So if we do this with the timer, we can see that even though this pushes out, we don't get any action on this piston until the very end of the cycle when the whole clock is complete. So that's how we use these timing circuits. If you watch this as it's going through, it's actually going to activate all of these, and all these pistons are going to extend the second the pulse goes through, but it's not actually going to transfer anything to our functional components until the end of the cycle. So we've got that, but how do we determine how long each of these things should take before it does its action? Well, we actually have 13 bamboo here, and this can be any item, 8 over here, and badoop, 4 over here. And it's a similar story down here. We have 4, and then 8, and then 12. I wanted to talk a little more about the timings because each piece of bamboo actually gives us a specific amount of time. And I'm actually going to do something a little unusual. I'm going to take us out of this creative world and into a coding application on the desktop so we can talk about how I derived the amounts of items that are in these hoppers to achieve the timings that we want. Let's go check that out. Okay, so if you're not familiar with what you're seeing, this is Visual Studio Code. It is a free coding editor provided by Microsoft. And right now we are running PowerShell in it. It supports a bunch of different languages, but basically it will let you format and write code and also run it interactively in a console, depending on what kind of extensions you may have installed. So whenever I'm trying to figure out a math problem or something with an equation, or if I want to create a data table, or I'm just trying to figure something out, this is kind of my go-to. This is something that I do in my day job. I'm a systems administrator and I do a lot of coding and scripting and automation. And so when I was thinking about this problem about how many items I need to get a certain amount of delay in seconds, this was my go-to to figure that out. So you can see up here in the comments, I've pulled in some information that I got from the MineCraft wiki. So we know that for each item to move across a hopper, that's 4 redstone ticks, okay? And we have to multiply that by 2 because, like I said, they're going to go in and out of the hopper. So that means we have 8 redstone ticks per item. And we know that there are 10 redstone ticks per real world second. So that gives us some variables. We can run these lines that will just cache them over here in our terminal and say that we know we want 10 seconds of delay. This here on line 19 is the equation that we can use to figure out how many items we will need to put in a hopper, this double hopper clock that we've got going on, in order to equal a certain amount of seconds. So if we want 10 seconds of delay, we know we have to multiply that by our ticks per second and then divide that total by the ticks per item, and that will give us our number of items. So if we run this and look at what's in this variable now, we know that we should put 12.5 items inside the hopper to equal 10 seconds of delay. Obviously, we can't put half an item in a hopper, so we'd either have to put 12 or 13, depending on if we want to round up or round down. And I know this is going to go back to some algebra that you probably tried really hard to forget, but if we instead want to know the seconds of delay, we can flip this equation around and work it this way. So the number of items times the ticks per item, all that divided by the ticks per second, will give us the seconds of delay. So we know that what we already have cached in here is going to equal 10 seconds of delay because we've already done that. Our number of items has already been populated. But suppose we go over here and we say we want number of items to equal, I don't know, 100? How many seconds of delay is that going to be? So if we run this line now, we will see that that will give us 80 seconds of delay. So a better way perhaps to look at this is to create a table. And this is just a little loop with an array declaration here that will fill our array with the data we need, basically build a table of items versus seconds. Run this here and we can see that in our delay data table, we have a whole bunch of information. Obviously, we probably only want to look at stuff that's less than 30 seconds. So this line right here, if we run it, we get this beautiful table that will tell us how many seconds we get out of each number of items. So suppose I want something like 5 seconds of delay. Well, we know we could either put in 6 items, which will give us 4.8, or we can put in 7 items, which will give us 5.6. So that's as close as we can get because we can't do half items. We can only do parts of seconds. And that's why I formatted the table in this way. So long story short, algebra actually saves the day, and we end up with a beautiful table that lets us know if we want an approximate amount of seconds, how many items we put into each hopper. And that is what I have done with all of the hoppers in the design. So let's go back to that and look at it one more time. Well, hopefully that was interesting to you. I certainly enjoyed it, but now we can see based on this number of items, I'll throw the table up over one of these sides somewhere, we can see the second delays that these equal out to. And that's just exactly what we've done here. We've got a bunch of different delays that all trigger off the same start pulse that give us this wonderful contraption. So let's let it run one more time. And you can see all of the clocks kick off, all the falling edge observers start detecting. We get all of our stuff pushed into place. Everything shoots out exactly as desired. And then we get a wither guy, ready to destroy everything that we love. Let's go ahead and kill him again. So that's basically it. And all of this is going to have to get built in the survival world, which is going to take some doing and probably even some resource gathering. I'm not sure if I have all of these required components or the things to build them. So that's going to take some time. It's not going to happen today. It's probably going to happen in between episodes because you don't really want to see me build this in survival, do you? It sounds painful. And that concludes our redstone deep dive for today. Let me know if you like this kind of thing. I certainly enjoy it. Some people are not into redstone, but this is the kind of thing whenever I'm watching a Minecraft series that I wish people would do more, because it really is pretty interesting. And you can do a lot of fascinating things with redstone. And often when I see people doing stuff that I really like, I'm like, whoa, wait, how does that work? Why don't you explain it? And so that's what I've done. Anyway, that's all from me. Back to me on the Skellyverse server. Sha-sha. Thanks, me. That was certainly fascinating. Still here in the farm with my friends and a lot of people that I don't like Blazes. Those dudes are super annoying. Now that you understand what the plan is for all of these skulls and for the Wither Crater, and in fact, I may try to make several of them, or maybe a couple different designs, because we've got a lot of space. Oh, I lost my friend. That's pretty sad. He'll be back. We've got several skulls, so we could summon several withers, and as I mentioned in the creative world, once we do it once, it's gonna get all blowed up, so I might as well make it happen several times. But speaking of, let us go ahead and head over to the Wither Arena. Actually, it appears that we're here right now. That's a little bit spooky. Okay, well, let's head down there. I guess, I don't know, seemed like we might be cursed. We might have to deal with that. Oh boy, that's some lag. Holy cannoli. Remember when I was talking about how Spigot servers are bad with redstone? This is something I'm learning recently, and I kind of wish that I had not gone with a Spigot server when I set the server up, but I guess Spigot will prioritize a lot of other stuff before redstone, so redstone can get left behind and mess up the timings, which is probably what happened to my damn billboard. You know, how it kept getting messed up? Spigot. I swear. Anyway, here we are at the Wither Arena with the spooky sounds. And we're going to have to do some retrofitting here because the design isn't really meant to be flush with the ground. As you saw, it's kind of all behind. So we're going to need to maybe integrate it into this wall or move a wall or something. But here's the place where it's going to go. Anyway, that is all the time that I have for today. So between episodes, I might work on actually getting some of the redstone back here, or we might do something completely different because I've got some crazy ideas of things that I want to do. And with the situation and all that we won't speak about, I have a decent amount of free time, so we'll see what I get up to, but hopefully back to posting on the regular here on the channel once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, we'll see. But if you liked what you saw, go ahead and throw me a like, subscribe if you want to be notified every time I post episodes such as the one that you have just seen, and until next time, peace out.